Here, guys, after a quick word from FanDuel, the NBA playoffs are in full swing. Every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments, whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player. There's never a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. New to FanDuel? Well, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Koby Altman had his end-of-season press conference yesterday. We had Jason Lloyd joining us live from Independence to give us some instant reaction, but we didn't hear anything from Koby. And there was one part of it that stood out in my mind. I want to play you a snippet from Koby, and then I have a question to follow up with you guys. But Koby was asked about the toughness of the Cavs. Are they tough enough to win at the highest of high levels? We know they can win in the regular season. Can they win in the postseason? So Koby was asked, and Koby's response was, I think we were physically tough, not mentally tough enough. I'm curious how you guys feel about what Koby Altman said in response to that question. Here's Koby.
That's an interesting question because I think there's a mental toughness that you have to get through going through these failures in the playoffs. I think people will speak to the physicality. It was a physical series against the Pacers, but watch every single series. They're all physical. They're all grabbing, holding. They're all pushing from afar. This was different because it wasn't like we were getting shoved around. We went into this playoff saying we want to win the possession battle, right? And we did that in large portion. We doubled the Pacers in offensive rebounding. So when you think about those intangible hustle stats, we had 70 offensive rebounds, they had 35. So this wasn't a just push around, we're not tough enough. Like, there's a mental toughness that we're going to have to get to that a lot of the Pacers had. A lot of the Pacers had that experience of, conference finals. Pascal Siakam was a champion, second best player on a championship team. You think of the years that Miles Turner has been through, all the playoffs he's been to. Now he's been to 2 conference finals. We haven't got there yet. And I think at the end of some of those games, taking out game 4, I think that's what we saw. They made those winning plays at the end. And as much as we won the possession battle and we dominated the possession battle throughout the playoffs, that one foul line blackout in game 2, right? That's a level of focus and winning that we have to get to, and it's going to eat at us. It's going to haunt us. But I just want to be careful on the toughness piece. It's physical. Of course, it's physical. They picked us up 94 feet. They beat us up. Our point guard wasn't healthy. We couldn't handle that pressure a lot of the times. That's part of it. But if you want to talk about the toughness, intangible hustle stats, we actually won that battle. I think it was the mental piece, and we're going to get there as we continue this pursuit.
So do you guys think the Cavs issue is more of a mentally tough issue, a physically tough issue, or both?
All I want to say is him saying that we had more offensive rebounds and we doubled it and still lost. That makes it even worse. I want to put that out there.
Right, he made that as that was some accomplishment.
That make it even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand what he's saying from the mental aspect of it all, but I mean, there's no denying the fact that Donovan got pushed to the ground and was picking himself up off the ground a lot. It was a lot of bumps and bruises. And I get the whole everybody was hurt thing. But so was Tyrese Halliburton. He had, according to McNuggets, he couldn't even use his left. And
right.
He still
played a game without Matherin. He wasn't hurt, but he got kicked out of the game.
I seen Miles Turner roll his ankle in a game and still came out there and didn't miss a beat. So to me, I like the physical part, that is a thing as well. These guys, we've done all these great things as far as, to me personally, what happened is that they made the Cavs play a different style of basketball. The Cavs didn't do the same things that they did in the regular season to make them successful. And I know it was because they didn't have their guys, but still, you didn't have a lot of guys in the lineup in the regular season, and you continued to run your offense at a high level. And the fact that y'all decided not to do that in the playoffs was the reason why y'all lost. But I understand what he's saying as far as the whole Pascal has won a championship and these guys have the experience.
Come on now.
I hear that, though.
I don't want to hear that.
I hear that, though.
The reason they don't have more experience is because they keep losing.
Well,
I mean, give me a break. There was not a single person, G. Bush, that before these playoffs started, we were talking about the Cavs. everybody in the NBA thought the Cavs could go to the finals. And everybody in the NBA thought the only team that could beat them in the East was Boston.
That's a fact.
Did you hear a single person when the playoffs started say, the Cavs might not have enough playoff experience?
No.
Of course not. You can't say that now because Miles Turner has been to the playoffs a bunch of times.
How many times has Donovan Mitchell been in playoffs?
1 million every year.
How many times has Max Strus been to the playoffs?
1 million.
What are you talking about? Like, why are we acting?
That's crazy.
He's gaslighting people.
That's 100%.
Like, this dude act like we just didn't see you lose 4 games to 1 3 years in a row. And he talking, and you lost to Atlanta in the play-in. Let's be real about this situation. We talked about Darius Garland. He lost 15 pounds last year. He had his wire, his jaw was wired. He lost all his weight. You had a whole offseason to put 20 more pounds on. How many L's do you got to take for you to get yourself ready to go? Jared Allen has been the same weight since he came into this league. He has not put one. The only thing that's got big is his afro. The afro looks great.
It is a sweet afro.
It's immaculate, by the way. It's sheened up.
That's why
it's edged up.
And
Love
that's
it.
why he need to just braid it for one series.
I want cornrows.
That would be weird.
I
He need
want
to braid it
cornrows.
and just come out there and get flagrant.
His whole team, your own coach said it. I got the clips. They were here. We were here. They physically punched us, and it was like we couldn't sustain what they were doing. All together, boys and girls, if your team says we're tired, is that physical or is it mental? Both. Stop trying to act. If we didn't shoot well, the biggest cause of shooting well, not shooting well, is when your legs get tired. Fatigue. Yeah. You didn't mention my home, but big dog. You didn't mention to me that it was the one block out, rebound, the block out. We couldn't. No, you couldn't inbound the basketball. You couldn't inbound. People were so physically dominant that you couldn't even move around and get away from somebody. Do you notice as the NBA, you name me one game where you couldn't get the ball in court? It doesn't happen. It only happens to the Cavs. He's gaslighting us, telling us, I'm going to push back a little bit. I'm going to push back on the physical part of it. Well, listen, you're not better than these teams. And the media, we got to stop doing that because you know what you're doing? You're encouraging them to say stuff like that.
It's crazy.
You're encouraging it.
I understand when he says we're not going to trade. He's got to say that. There's no benefit to saying we're going to trade guys. Now, if they don't trade him, I'm going to be pissed.
All right, I'm about to say.
Yeah, no, they got it. We'll get to
say
that.
It all he wants.
But
he better.
I understand why he makes those comments in a press conference because if you say, we got to break things up, well, now you weaken your trade position. But these comments are insane. to say that, by the way, part of physical toughness is being able to play through injury. You mentioned Halliburton was hurt the whole series. You barely knew it because he played great except for one game.
You didn't see every time he went to the bench that he had a brace on in his back?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, right. And you're like, wow.
Do you guys remember?
Yeah.
And I don't want to pile on here, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards in Game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals against Golden State.
Yeah.
Rolled his ankle.
Oh, I thought it was his knee.
No, rolled his ankle. He had to be helped off the court.
Yeah.
We didn't hear about that again for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Didn't hear a word.
Yeah.
And when he talked about, and real quick, to go against Koby again, and sorry to do this, Koby, but he is technically correct. The Cavs out-rebounded the Pacers, 229 to 208. However, look at the contested rebounded numbers, which is when it's not just
which is
missed
what
shots.
matters. Yeah.
Indiana had 74 contested rebounds in the series. Cleveland had 52.
And that's the hustle plays. And that's part of the reason the Cavs had so many offensive rebounds is because they shot so many bricks from the three-point line.
Yeah.
I mean, and look, that's guys use misleading. Some knucklehead, I don't remember who it was, some random dude on Twitter yesterday sends me this bizarre graphic.
I saw it was Joe Burrow and Andy Dalton.
Joe Burrow and Andy Dalton comparison.
Oh Lord!
And the stats on there, it said through 5 years they had the same QBR. First of all, Joe Burrow's QBR on there was completely wrong. It was way higher than the number. And then it did not have passing touchdowns. It had rushing touchdowns on the bottom. Like anybody gives a crap who's got more rushing. So you can spin stats the way you want to spin them, make them look however you want. The Cavs are clearly, it is painfully obvious, not physically tough enough. The Pacers out-hustled them in the series. All of a sudden, the Pacers are a good team. We didn't give them enough credit. But this idea that the Pacers, they're way better than the Cavs.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, come on.
That's ridiculous.
And they didn't, guys.
Anybody that say that is out to lunch.
Injuries were a factor, clearly. I do not want to hear this. They lost the series because of injuries, because that's nonsense.
See, to a certain extent, because although Evan was hurt,
yeah.
He still was.
He looked totally fine.
Yeah,
he looked totally fine. Let me tell you something.
It blew my mind.
Game one, they were only missing Darius. If you're a championship contender, you should be able to still win a game at home with your third best player out.
They were up 19 in game 2 without all
19 in game 2 with nobody. They blew it. Game 5, they had everybody, and they got smoked in the second half.
Game 4, he's going to, anytime you say throw game 4 out, why would you throw game 4 out when it's the pivotal game in the series?
And got demolished.
And you got beat by 50. What? This is my point.
Yeah.
He's playing you.
Yeah.
He's playing. He's not going to, look, it goes back to the theory. The Cavs, they're okay with winning the 60-some-odd games because they're a good regular season team. People will come, still play. It's a great atmosphere. And look, there's never going to be anybody, because there's apologists all over the internet talking about, you guys are dumb. We shouldn't break it up. We shouldn't break Darius and this. He was hurt. Listen, man, I'm going to tell you something right now.
They can't trade Darius. I just
100% should be traded.
I just got that jersey.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
We ain't trade.
Good buyback program going.
Me and Bullard go half on a baby.
Yeah.
Because this is, for me, you keep saying this is what we do in Cleveland. We overinflate the value of what we have because it's better than what we had in the past. It's better than what it been because it's better than it used to be post LeBron, and you got good guys and you win 64 games. You inflate that these guys are top notch, and every single year, here's how I know it ain't top notch. Every single year, Jason Lloyd sits here as they keep running it back. He says, Jared, I can't defend Jared anymore. And DG, what am I going to get for him anyway? Every year, Jason says, his value in the league is polarizing.
He's kind of right, though.
Every single year.
He's not that good then.
He's not that good.
Enough, but
okay.
What do you want Jason to like?
No, he's not criticizing Jason. He's saying it shows out there. He's not that good.
I'm big up in Jason. Because I'm big up in Jason because Jason's saying like, hey guys, I know y'all want him to make a move, but there ain't that many people that's willing to take a 6'1" guard that's ball dominant, that's injured all the time, and sometime with his mental ability to focus on the game.
The NBA has an issue.
Don't do that.
And this is Darius falls into this category, but there's Kemba Walker's and there's a bunch of guys in this group. When a player performs well on his rookie contract, they either get the rookie max extension or they get let go. Very rarely does a player coming off his rookie deal sign like a regular sized extension.
Yeah.
And it puts a lot of guys in a situation where their contract does not meet their value, which then makes getting off it hard. And I go back to real quick, Charlotte with Kemba Walker as the example, because Charlotte decided we're not giving Kemba the extension. Like we don't think he could be the number one player, and we can't afford to play 2 max guys. They let him walk. He went to Boston, and then he ended up getting hurt, going in and out of his career, and ended up being the right move for Charlotte. But at the time, Charlotte got absolutely destroyed for it, because everyone said, you guys have no good players, you got to keep it. I, honest to God, don't know what some of these teams are supposed to do in those situations.
Yeah, all right, but it is what it is now, so I get what you're saying. It's a tricky
I just want to make that point.
Yeah, it's a tricky spot. I get it. Not that Charlotte's done anything without him. But
they've made every wrong decision since coming back to Charlotte.
So, but here's the thing I've heard a lot of people, I keep hearing the same crap. That, it's not Boston 7 years.
Oh, that Boston talking point is infuriating.
You know what Boston did? Yes, the top 2 players on the team, they kept those guys together, but they kept changing the rest of the guys until they found the right combination.
Kyrie
and
Irving,
that's what right.
Gordon Hayward.
What's his name? Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart. Kemba Walker.
They kept changing the other parts. The Cavs have Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley. Those are their 2 best players. Anybody else can go in the right deal. And I understand it's a tricky situation. It's the Cavs, because of this stupid second apron nonsense that nobody even knows what the hell it means, make challenges in making trades. But I'll tell you this, G, I would rather trade Darius Garland and Jared Allen for a player or two players that maybe are not quite as talented, but have a toughness and an edge to them that'll fit with the chemistry of this team.
I agree.
They are not winning as currently constituted.
It's not.
That's obvious. You're not going to move on from Donovan because he's the best player. And you're not going to move on from Evan because he's a young player that's getting better and better. He's still got to take that step where he dominates more often.
I just seen Evan for Giannis.
That's,
We're going to get to that
I thought
literally
that
next.
couldn't happen. Now Mike says there is a way it could.
We're going to get to that next.
But you have to. They have to trade.
And Bull,
Yeah.
And the problem that we had is, I get it. Y'all traded for Jared Allen before you had anybody here.
Yeah, right.
Let's stop acting like Jared Allen is a core anything. He is
No.
a role player.
There's no core 4. There's a core 2.
No, hold on,
Trade
hold on.
anybody else. Yes.
He is a
100%.
Here's the thing. If you're a big and you cannot get your own shot, if you're not physical, and you don't have an offensive game, you are an energy guy. And if energy guys don't bring energy, what are we talking about
You know
here?
what? This is what I'll say. I've sat here. We've been on this show for an hour and 37 minutes.
Yes.
And at the beginning of this show, right around the Guardians talk, y'all both said that Jay Crawford is the most prisoner of the moment person.
He is.
Right now, you two are prisoners.
It's not
of
prisoner.
the
It's 3 years,
it's
4
it's
years.
4
Yes,
years.
y'all are. Y'all are prisoner
Tyrus,
of the
this
moment.
is
Yeah.
4 years.
Y'all ridiculous.
They ain't even been to a game 7 in the second round.
This is ridiculous.
They
what
haven't
y'all
won 2
saying.
games.
So
in
you
the
want to
second
bring the
round.
same team back as is?
No.
No. So then what are you saying?
No.
They haven't.
I think.
I think there's an in-between of how far you guys want to go. And
Yeah,
what-
y'all.
okay.
Y'all.
So can we agree?
The fact that Bull just sat there and said, "I'd rather trade Darius and Jared for two guys that might not be talented, but it's
I
tough."
did not say
That's
might not be
ridiculous.
Might not
I
be
did not
as-
say might not
as
be talented. I said
talented.
not as talented.
Oh my goodness.
But bring other things to the
That's
game.
ridiculous.
That's not
That's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Hey,
to say.
No, I'm with Bull on this, and here's why, Ty.
I'm with you, Ty.
Listen,
Right there,
2v2.
they ridiculous.
McNuggets. Listen, McNuggets and Tybus. Let me ask you a question all together now. In 4 years, they have not been competitive in one second round series. Have they?
As far as like,
Not competitive. Not close to winning. Not
True.
close.
No, that is true.
that's true. 4-1.
This is the second round.
Yeah.
It ain't the conference finals. It ain't the NBA
Yeah.
finals. He's sitting here telling us that you can't beat the Pacers or the Knicks. The Celtics was, okay, I give you the
That's
Celtics.
not what he's saying, though, G.
what-
And you could disagree with what Kobe's saying. And I'm not saying I agree with everything he said. But what he's saying is
Yeah.
the 4 teams that are left in the playoffs are the 4 healthiest teams.
They're
We
better
were
than
not
you.
healthy enough
Hold on.
to win at that level.
They're better
That's
than you.
bullshit.
They're better than you. They're just, they're simple.
I'm telling you, that's what Kobe Altman told you. I'm
Yeah.
not saying you have to agree with it. That is what Kobe Altman told you.
They are simply, if somebody is injured and you're injured, you can show fight to it. We just sat here and talked about LeBron James playing with Delhi with the greatest team ever to live, and they won 2 games in the finals when they had no Kevin Love, no Kyrie Irving. We sitting here saying that Darius Garland missing one of these games, he missing these games, and you get beat 4-1?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Come on.
It's ridiculous.
Ain't about home court.
And to back up what you said, G, how many times in the last 4 years have the Cavs won a series that they were an underdog?
None.
0.
Well, they've only played in 4 series, and they're 1-3.
Well, all right,
So.
but include the play-in. I don't remember if they were favored.
They lost They lost to the Hawks, and they was at home.
Right. How many times have they lost when they were favored? This year against the Pacers. 2 years ago against the Knicks. Both times.
And got pushed to 7 against the Magic.
Magic when they were a massive favorite against the Magic.
Come on, you guys.
So,
come on.
What am I saying that's unfair, Mike? I'm not saying not talented. I'm saying you
it's
could.
easy. It's very easy to say blow it up, bringing guys less
I'm not
talented.
saying blow it up. I'm saying
When you trade 2
change-
pieces of the core,
Yeah.
that is blowing
I
up.
don't
the
believe
That is
they're-
blowing
I
it up.
believe it's a core 2.
We're arguing minutia here,
But-
tomato,
Well,
tomato.
because
What I
calling
don't-
it a core is stupid.
No,
It
I'm
doesn't
just
make any
saying-
sense.
What I don't
arguing
understand.
tomato here.
What
Yeah.
I don't know. What did Darius have in them games that he did play?
I don't care. He's not
No,
an
I
impact
do.
player when
It
it matters.
matters.
He's always hurt. He's
It
not an
matters.
impact player.
That matters.
let's look
I
at
want to
the-
know what he had.
Let me pull it up.
What did
Pull
he
it.
have in the games that he played?
He had 20
in the Pacers
he had the
series?
20
Darius
Yeah,
Garland
when
in
he
the
got
3
blew up.
games against the Pacers had 11 points, 21 points, and 10 points, 4 rebounds, 1 rebound, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 6 assists, 3 assists.
They did nothing.
See that matters.
He did nothing.
But like,
and I know he was banged up.
We all can sit here like we all even admitted that the turf toe is probably the worst one out of all of them.
Crazy.
Like, come on.
It's the NBA playoffs. You gotta play through this stuff.
Game 5, the man literally was hobbling up the court. What do you want to like? What the heck do you want him to do?
Donovan Mitchell was half. Donovan Mitchell was half dead, and he scored 50.
Would you say that Darius is the second scoring option, best scoring option?
He shouldn't be.
I'm asking you a question.
He was this year.
All right.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so Donovan had to carry the weight on his shoulders because he had nobody else to get the ball to.
And he did it even though he was hurt. There was no whining about his injury.
Would you admit that a rolled ankle is not as severe as turf toe?
I don't know. I've never had turf toe.
G. Bush.
I like turf toe is painful, man. Here's what I'm gonna say.
But it's just a pain tolerance thing.
Man, what?
Listen, I'm not diminishing. Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm not diminishing, right? Here's what I'm saying. Overall, when Koby Altman speaks like that, he gives people shelter.
I ain't got nothing to say about that. I ain't saying you wrong on that.
I mean, because
he's wrong as 2 left shoes.
Last year, Jared Allen didn't play in the Boston series. This year, you had Evan Mobley, Hunter. Listen, I know Hunter hurt his finger, but what happens in practice when you dislocate your finger?
They pop it in and put some tape on it, and you go back.
Thank you very much. I'm just saying, dog. And all we need you to do is play defense. Kenny Atkinson.
No, you needed them to score too because it's your second best scoring option.
Well, at least he could have offered something. They offered nothing, and then they couldn't get the ball in.
He had a couple points,
but no, when he didn't play in game 2.
Oh yeah, no, okay.
You see what I'm saying? When you don't, that's my thing. It's like to me. And look, the Cavs got a good team. Darius Garland is talented. Jared Allen is very talented. All of them are talented. Here's what I'm saying. Obviously, there's other teams that are getting to a point where now the Knicks, they making changes every year.
The Knicks is making changes.
They
can't make no more changes.
Teams are going for it.
Everybody killed the Knicks for what they did in the offseason, changing, and they played like crap for a lot of the year. And everybody was killing them. They're in the finals now. I mean, the conference finals now.
Minnesota too.
Is all of their guys healthy?
No,
I don't know.
Jalen Brunson ain't healthy. Brunson ain't been healthy this whole playoff series.
Man. Brunson rolled his ankle in March. He's still a little hobbled by it.
Exactly. You don't hear no whining about that. That guy brings his game up to another level.
We talking about a rolled ankle versus turf toe. I can't even plan.
All right, and to me, I look at it like this. Not even just on the physical and the toughness part. We'll get to Mobley for Giannis or whatever the trades is. To me, I look at the parts. It's not just Darius Garland in a vacuum. It's the fact that you're starting 3 guards that are under the size of 6'3", and you're wondering why you can't defensively match up with people. I'm seeing you getting hunted out. You getting every.
That's
single,
a fact.
That's
a fact.
So they have to do something because right now, to me, it's not working against elite teams.
They need a taller backup.
Here's the thing: at this moment, going into next season. The Cavs have 6 playable playoff players. Isn't that true?
I think it's 5.
I think it's 4.
I can't put Jared Allen in that category. I can't.
You're putting him in the core 4, but he's not a playoff player?
I said it yesterday. Can't put him in.
You just called him part of the core 4.
In the terminology of the core 4, he is part of the core 4.
That's bullshit. It's a nonsense made-up term.
So
you got 5.
I got 5 guys I think you go to war with in the playoffs right now. Jared Allen, I can't say I'm confident in.
So Hunter and the other 4 starters.
Darius, Hunter, and Ty Jerome?
No, Ty Jerome's a free agent. Ty Jerome's a free agent.
Correct.
We don't know if Merrill's a free agent. Yeah. Isaac Coro, D. Wade are complete zeros. They're zeros. They can't be counted on.
I agree.
So you have 5, maybe 6, if you count Jared Allen.
Yep.
And I was giving Jared Allen that. So to me, and I don't know how realistic this is, but if I could turn Jared Allen and Darius Garland into 2 players each, well, now I have 9 legitimate players.
But how are you?
Watch this. Would you take the X McNugget?
And I don't know if you can do that, but
this is how you know that you can take lesser talent.
Shoot.
Would you take Bridges and Hart for Darius Garland and Allen?
No.
No.
Bridges and Josh Hart?
No.
No.
I would. in heartbeat.
No.
No.
No. That's why you're not a GM.
This-
No.
What they need,
Watch this.
This is
No.
what they need. The Cavs need to do this.
I would do that in a
I don't know
heartbeat.
if they can. Or, this is what they need to do.
You just hold on a sec. You just saw the Cavs offense with Darius out of the equation run only through Donovan, and it got completely. You can't take out your secondary creator, your second best ball handler.
Maybe
Cavs-
another.
the Cavs
For two guys that are defensive led. That
Maybe
don't
the wrong guys.
No,
Maybe the wrong
listen.
guys.
The Cavs need to find a way to get Drew Holiday as a backup point guard.
How do you?
Listen,
He's my
You can't,
starter.
but you can't pay Drew Holiday $35
I know you
million
can't.
to your
But
back.
listen, if they could, this would
I'm
change everything because when you get down to them crunch situations,
Yeah.
you take Darius out and put him
He
in.
said backup.
I gotta,
I'm
Mike. I gotta
starting
trade
Drew
Darius
Holiday.
Garland. We
Man,
can't have
you
him.
out to lunch.
You gotta
starting
trade Darius.
You
Holiday.
got to find someone to make a trade with. That's the
Right.
issue.
Don't you have to?
I think it's very plausible.
Yeah.
Regardless of what Kobe said, and we'll get to this next trade in a second, I promise.
Yeah.
Very plausible to move Jared Allen with his $20 million contract
Yeah.
into, like you said, Bull, two pieces that can make you better in situations and places you need.
Yeah.
I mentioned the deal with the Rockets on Monday. I mentioned again this morning. Tari Eason, Jabari Smith for Jared Allen works on paper. A deal like that
Done.
where you get wings. And
Well,
you
how do you do that with? Can you trade Darius for a
Why would the
for
Rockets
a
do that?
creator who may not be as good overall as Darius, but is a good creator, who's bigger,
in
and then maybe a secondary player?
In a vacuum, maybe I'd have to dive
Well,
and look into who.
I don't think
I don't
this
have a
te-
name. There's not a name or an aggregate of two,
Yeah.
three guys that I look at as a team that says, "Hey, they may
Yeah.
want to make this kind of
Get
deal."
creative, because here's what we know: this team, as is not winning a championship. Con yourself into whatever you want. They are not winning a championship
At all.
as is.
At all.
With the and part of it is they got to change the chemistry of those next guys. Part of it is Evan Mobley taking that other step.
And if
As
you want to
to-
hear more on that, Jason,
We
I
can't
talked about
he
this
can't
morning.
disappear for like an entire quarter.
No, and we got to trade involves Mobley. I got to get a
And
read
this
in
is just
before
silly.
we
I don't
head
like
on.
this. I thought you
Buckeye
couldn't
State-
trade him. I thought you couldn't trade for Giannis. You told me for 2 weeks you couldn't trade
If
for
you
Giannis.
give me a sec, I'm going to just put everyone in their right place.